Mother fluffers. How's everybody doing? It's about that time, guys. It's about that time. Fat lad in the mother fluffing house. 9:30 on the nose. And I'm actually amazed we've got anybody in. Apart from James Statham, because I told him I was going on earlier today. James, just seen you in the chat. James Statham there, our Arm Wars production director, kicking ass. And if you haven't seen what we've put out there, check it out. Links in the description. I think it's right at the top. And yeah, go and check that out, guys. Have a look at it. So, Thursday night, I know, soft wash science, Gary Roberts quits. It's a hard life, mate. It's a very hard life. And I think he got a little bit upset. I haven't actually seen the show. I think Gary went on the other night and told everybody about it. But basically, he got some of his stuff pirated, for anyone who doesn't know. I believe by Redbeard. And as a result of that, he's decided to, quit his resurgence, which is a great shame, to be honest. I hope Gary is just a little bit upset and he comes back to it. But I need to check out the show and find out what exactly went on, because I don't know the specifics of it. But he's one of the guys that has been in the sport for so long, Gary Robertson. He's a man that I think's probably a lot of people won't know Gary if you've not been in the sport for a long, long time. Gary's one of the guys that was beyond active back in the day. I mean, beyond active. He was everywhere and anywhere at any time. You went to shows, and he felt like he was a member of the family. Arm wrestling has always been a big family experience in many ways, and Gary's one of those guys that was everywhere. Good dude, super passionate, super emotional lad. Really gets him. Holy shit, he's in the chat. Gary Roberts is in the chat. Gary, I'm probably going to shut up now because I was just talking about you, but I need to check out your show, Gary, and find out what you said. I heard a lot of messages the next day. People came on and said, "Oh, you heard about Gary?" And for a minute, I thought something had happened to you. I was worried about that, but then I got the news on it. Redbeard strikes again. Piracy is inevitable from the man Bowen. Don't worry, mate. I'll get him on the fix, and we'll check it out later this week. So, got a couple of super chats. Devon's classy finger. Let's go. Thanks for the super chat, mate. Much appreciated. Gary Roberts with a super chat. Gary, thank you very much, mate. And don't take it too personally, Gary. Keep in there, mate. Keep fighting the good fight and doing what you're doing. Remember, you've got a unique angle, totally unique angle. So keep that thing rolling. Let's have a look in the chat. Who else we got in here? Who else we got in? And then I'll tell you a little bit. While we're letting people come in, I'll tell you a little bit about why I came on tonight. Yuri Makarov is in the house. Love Yuri. Marco GT5 in the house. Stephen Diamond in the house. Fighting Talk in the house. As I said, we got James in the house. James Statham. Been on the phone to him a lot today. Looking at when we can deliver the next Arm Wars gig. And we're planning on late January. A couple of issues around that just because of the dates of the WAF. But late January is most likely. Greg Vickelund is in the house also. Billy Berg in the house. Jody Chocolate Thunder Williams. How are you doing, everybody? Great to see you all in here. The Arm Wrestling Opinion here. I think we got about 100 odd people in here. It's really good. Quality stuff. And Chris Gammo. Chris, I hope Don wrote back to you the other day. I've actually sent your note over to John Brzenk. Hopefully John's in contact with you soon. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about tonight. Because the reason I've come on here, guys, is I got a lot of messages the day after and a couple of days after the live that we did with John and Devon the other night. Various questions coming in, questions from all angles about all kinds of things. And obviously didn't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time to sort of just I try to respond to a lot of things and have fun with the guys, interact a little bit in the evenings on the chats and try and get into the comments and stuff, read some of those. But it's bloody difficult to do that. It's very, very difficult. I'm mobbed off my tits just at the moment. A lot of things on, a lot of distractions, and I'm trying to do as much as I can around the Arm War side of things in the evenings as well, and also get some stuff lined up for the shows. So I figured the easiest way to do it is to literally just come on here and let you guys fire any questions you've got at me. And I'll walk you through those and I'll answer them as honestly as I can. Unless they're really difficult, then I'll talk absolute shit and will not tell you anything about that. But Soft Wash Science just pops up with a super chat. I was the first to take Gary's video 7 minutes post-match, and it now has 65,000 views. I told Gary to call Stop Blaming Ryan. Well, I don't know what to say about that, mate. That's one to take up with Gary Roberts. He might answer you in a moment. Can I just say blueberry juice? The stuff of legend. The stuff of legend. You can't beat a combo. Blueberry juice and Western Survivor beef jerky, ladies and gentlemen. The greatest beef jerky in the world. Grigalavikland. You're reaching 14,000 subs soon, brother. Am I? Really? Amazing. Bloody hell. I know I had 13 the other day. I haven't checked it at the moment, but I will check it when I get off. Maybe rising, but if it's nearly 14, holy schmook. Pretty good. SG Records. I'm also in the house, Mother Fluffers. SG, how evening, dude? Hope you're well. So, I want to get a bit of an indication in the chat. What did you guys think of the John and Devon thing the other day? It's fairly kicking off, and it's getting quite exciting. It was nice to keep the guys on the phone after the call a little bit and just hear some of the comments. I've had so many questions about how I think it's going to go down, and there's a number of ways you can view that, to be perfectly honest. I gave up betting against John Brzenk a long time ago, but when John walks away and stays out of the sport and isn't active for such a long period of time, you've got to think that this is Devon Larratt's match to lose, to be perfectly honest. You know, I would be amazed once again. I've been amazed so many times, but I would be amazed once again. Probably more amazed than I've ever been before if John Brzenk could come in and win this match. It will be truly, truly amazing. We will see. John knows he's got lanes against Devon. He knows he's got things that he can do. He's no idiot. John picked this match, as he said the other night, because stylistically, it's a good match for him. You're looking at a guy in Devon Larratt who pulls on the counter. A lot of Devon's career has been built by arm wrestling on the counter. He was perhaps most dangerous when he first met John back in 2008. I know there's a lot of chat about that, and a lot of people have opinions on it. My opinions are very strong on that as well. John's opinions are strong on that. Devon's opinions, I'm sure, are strong on that also. Everybody's got their own stance and their own perception of how that went down. Ultimately, we'll never know, and it's in the past. I've checked back on some of the correspondence, in fact, all of the correspondence that went down in the lead up to that match. And some of the correspondence is quite interesting. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. I know a lot of messages came my way on that, and I'm not going to talk about it out of respect for people. I'll leave that where it lies. But one day there may be a book or something along those lines. We'll see what happens. DCS Beamer, thanks for your super chat, mate. But the John and Devon episode was awesome. Really enjoyed it. John was in top form, wasn't he? John was great, I thought. John came to the table with a lot there. He came to fight his corner, and good on him. And why wouldn't he? You know, Devon will pick away at you. He'll get into your head. I'm sure this match with John's no different. Both these guys are proud men. They're both alphas. Both guys that have achieved an enormous amount. Why wouldn't they come in confident? John really has nothing to lose for me here. I think John's one of those guys, one of the few guys, if not the only guy, probably the only guy, who is that level of Teflon. Who the hell doesn't love John Brzenk? I mean, he's all things to all men in the sport of arm wrestling. He really is. You know, if he's not your favorite arm wrestler, he's definitely going to be in the top 5 for 90% of people that have ever put their elbow on a table. He's respected by anyone and everyone, and rightly so. The guy can do it. He's proved it countless times in countless ways against countless men of varying weight classes and the highest levels. He was so well traveled. He would show up anywhere and everywhere, and he pulls people in their strength. What is not to like? This is just another example of that. Although on this particular occasion, I think he's pretty much in a no-lose situation, because how many people out there really believe that John's going to win? Even the biggest John fans, you know what I mean? I bet John's mum's at home going, "Oh, okay. Our match, you know, he's not going to be the favourite." But who knows? If anybody can do it, if anybody can pull off that upset, maybe it's John. We will see. So, Fat Legless Bird. Let's have a look. Super chat. Hello, beautiful big boy. Thanks for noticing. Any chance you can make some arm wrestling training exercise videos? Would be cool to hear from you. Also, Iron Dick, Devon for the win. You know what, mate? I should at some point get my ass back on the table, even if only to do some training. Even if just that, you know. It's been too long. So many things, it's been too long. But yeah, maybe I'll try and jump back on soon. Oh, wait a minute. Arm TV's just come in the chat. Let's have a look. Ryan Bowen also posted the John and Devon footage a few days later after he expressed anger about the Paul Lynn footage, which is basically a middle finger and not knowing about you posting the footage. Okay, the plot thickens. Doesn't make it any worse. Yeah, a little bit. I need to get Gary Robertson and Ryan on a show, and they can have a chat. Now, that would be some... Would you like that, Gary? Do you want to come on The Fix on Sunday and talk to Ryan? You want to come on a show with Ryan? I can get Ryan and you can chat to Ryan about that. I don't think that's a problem. Billy Berg. Neil, thank you for what you do. Thank you, mate. And thank you for your super chat. Really, really appreciate the support. Let's have a look at what else we got in here. How many people we got? Jesus Christ, we've got over 200 people in here. I can't believe it. And the UFC press, I shouldn't say this because I'm on live and I want you guys to stay, but UFC's live as well. I didn't know, but it came up with a reminder. And a couple of people in the chats, I think, having a look at that as well. So thank you for your attention. Thanks for coming on the show, guys. It's great to have you all here. It really, really is. And it's exciting times for arm wrestling. And we got a lot of things to talk about tonight that I can try and fill you in on. Interestingly, just as I flick down here, quite a few people are backing John. A lot of people believe that. Just do us a favor, guys. Flick a load of comments in if you think John Brzenk can win. Let's get a feeling for how many people really believe John can win. And I'll just knock over a couple of these super chats. Neil, may I use your video clips from John versus Devon live stream? I'm trying to put a compilation of them trash talking. I hope you will enjoy it. Yes, mate, you can use some clips from that. That's okay. Swedish arm wrestling television, Krieg Gavikalan, my boy. If you wrote a book about arm wrestling, I will buy it with a big smile on my face. Hey, mate, you never know. Stranger things have happened. One day that could happen. It may happen. You never know. It's funny when you try and think back on some of the stuff that happened, that some of the experiences I've had in this sport. They've been the weirdest of stuff. The weirdest of stuff has gone down. It really has. Let's have a look what else we got in here. Will you be in Dubai, Neil, from Eric? I don't know, mate. I don't know. We will see. We will see. Anything can happen. Nothing confirmed yet, though. I will say that. Got nothing confirmed yet. Southwest Arm Wrestler. Thanks for your super chat, mate. Hey, Neil, any tips for a top roller coming up against a Talgat-style presser? Yes. Pronation obviously is key, but pronation from a position where you're easily attacked is very difficult. Think about the side of your pad you're starting on. Pulling a guy like Talgat, that kind of style, you need to try and make sure that they are outside of their shoulder. So move to the opposite side of the pad, move to the back of the pad, try that. If that's not working for you, move to the front of the pad, keep a low hand and stand your hand up high so that they're hitting the bone. I'll try and go through that on a video and show you exactly what I mean. There's a lot of ways you can combat that. Sometimes you need to react with a guy, i.e. move the arm just a touch before you go to your back pressure. A lot of guys make the mistake of going straight to the back pressure. If you're going straight to back pressure and your pronator isn't strong enough, you will end up in a hook. The downside of that is when you've tried to top roll and you end up in a hook, you're in a terrible position. So the funny thing is you can sometimes access your top roll better if you've actually moved quite hard with the pronation applies. If you've moved quite hard to the side on the start, just a take a little sting off that hip. You might find that's effective. Sorry, guys, I got a tickly cough, and it's killing me. I think there's the plague is going around in the UK at the moment, and with my kids going back to school, they're like germ factories. Have a look what else we got in here. Chris Gammo. Donna did reach out. Cool. Oh, she's a lass. An absolute gem. Thanks, brother. Thank you again for passing the message to John. No problem. I hope he reaches out. I feel like he might do, mate. He sounded like he would on the phone. Come on, John, give Chris a call. And I feel like I might be onto something in with a few of these ideas. Thanks, Neil. No problem, Chris. Thank you, mate. And as I say, be interesting to see how that works out for you. Remember, we got the John Brzenk shirts, and they're the link is in the description for those guys. The money from those is going straight to John. So if you want to support the GOAT, you know where to find his gear. And it's really cool stuff as well, the Perfect Storm stuff that we've got there in the descriptions. Looking at the chat, it's overwhelmingly Devon. Most people feel like Devon has got this. And I kind of agree he starts as favourite. But here we go. We got a few Brzenks coming in. Yeah, we got a few. Peter, TX1, Team Brzenk. Matt Tickle My Limits, Lara, Brzenk. Although, sorry, Devon Tickle My Limits, Mask, Brzenk. I know Matt Tickle My Limits has got Devon. Brockton Dog's got John. Score PWN's got John. John O'Brien's got John. And then we've got guys like Flo and Monk, Larrett all day. Martin Peck, John for the win. Yeah, it's evened out a little bit as I've come down the chat now. John Brzenk's got a few votes in there, though. Interesting. It is interesting. It never ceases to amaze me how many people have that endless belief in John Brzenk. It's funny because I'm going to get, the next few days, I'm going to put In the Presence together. And I'm going to ask a few guys who are very close to Devon and John, in terms of having pulled them many times and recently. People like Jerry Caderet, Marcio Barboza, maybe Ron Bath, maybe Monster Mike would want to come on and give some insight on that. But I'd like to see what their feelings are and how they feel that's going to go down. Beerman Burgoyne, Evan Burgoyne is in the chat. Nice to have you in here. Evan, good dude, Evan Burgoyne. Misunderstood character as well. There's a lot of sides to that guy. Complex character. Yeah. Black Paw, Neil, you once said that you injured your elbow tendons from doing stupid statics. Yeah. Can you tell us which static exercises you did? To be honest, mate, I worked statics in a lot of areas. Pretty much every area, in fact. But I think it was going to ridiculous weights, which were, I mean, we got to the stage, it's going to sound far-fetched, but we got to the stage where we would be wrist curling 300 kilograms. Sounds silly, doesn't it? That happened. That's two-handed wrist curls on a scaffold tube bar. And we got stupid levels. No need. Just too heavy. But we did that. And I think that's the reason that you end up with some damage. Let's have a look what else we got in here. I don't think I've missed any supers there, guys. I do not think I've missed any super chats. So we're going to carry on. Okay. So a couple of the questions I had about Arm Wars. When is Arm Wars coming back? What's happening with Arm Wars? So we'll start there. Arm Wars is coming back probably from January 2022. Possibly February, but likely January. And I would imagine we'll be doing an event last 2 weeks of Jan. So we'll be either the last week of Jan or the weekend before that. And going to be interesting because we're going to have a mix of people in there, either a middleweight battleground or a lightweight battleground. There won't be any live. We're not going to be looking to capitalize on live. This thing's going to be behind closed doors. And it will be put together for you guys to enjoy. Those of you subscribe to the new channel, Arm Wars Official, which is coming out probably on New Year's Day. We will launch that channel. And that's going to be the concept going forward. All Arm Wars stuff is going to be films. It's going to be shot differently, very, very differently from anything that's been done before. Funnily enough, it's nice to have Gary Robertson in the chat, because Gary was on the New Year's Eve show. He did his marathon, and I came on at various times through that discussion. And one of the things that we got talking about, I remember Brad Cook was on the show. 217. If you're not subscribed to that, get over and check out Brad's stuff. Ridiculous level. Now, when we were on that show, he asked me about the Arm Wars shows, and he said, you know, why did you stop doing Arm Wars? And I said it just was too much time and effort and money for something that wasn't what I wanted to do. It wasn't what I wanted to show from Arm Wars, and it wasn't evolving. It wasn't moving forward. I didn't feel like it was progressing. And what I wanted to do at that time was to make the shows in a different way, to show arm wrestling, to show Arm Wars in a completely different light, to expose characters, to make the thing a little bit like a cross between Peaky Blinders and a Guy Ritchie film. That's what we're going to do. We're showing this in a completely different manner to how it's ever been shown before. James Statham is a very, very talented director. I've got a lot of faith in him, and I think that he can help me bring the concept that was in my head to life, probably better than anybody's been able to do before, because of his capabilities and understanding. So I genuinely believe that this will be more engaging for people. If you guys are anything like me, and like a lot of the people that I've met who want to understand a little bit more about the sport of arm wrestling, you need to engage and you need to buy into the person that's arm wrestling before you really care, before you give a shit, you know? And that's what we're going to do. We're going to show you these people. And I'll tell you what, we'll have a bit of fun with the guys that are on here, okay? A lot of people write to me and send me messages and say, how do I get in Arm Wars? What do I do to get myself on an Arm Wars show? How do I get in the show? Okay. Well, one of the things is, who do you guys want to see? Who do you guys want to watch? Now, let's see if we've got any real points of consistency. Everybody that's in the chat, let me know. And I'm not talking about, you know, Devon Larratt, Michael Todd. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about guys who are already massive names. They can be a name in the sport, but they're not Michael Todd. They're not Devon Larratt. Tell me who you guys are most interested to see, or most interested to know about, because if these guys come and pull in Arm Wars, we are going to expose their character like never before. You're going to see much more about these people than you will have ever done before. So let's see, who do you guys want to know about? Whose character do you want to know about? Who do you want to really meet? And we'll bring those people to you. We'll try and put them out there and get into their heads. I just had a message from James. Let me see what James has sent me. Okay, James, yeah, I'll pick that up with you. He's saying, yeah, we can make tutorial vids. We can make tutorial vids, mate, but as we said earlier today, as I said earlier today, I think that's secondary to what we want to do with the Arm Wars thing. The Arm Wars concept is the Arm Wars concept, and I really want to spin it out there and let you guys see what I'm talking about. I genuinely believe once we do that, you will 100% get it. And if you don't, tell us and we'll change, but I think you will. So, super chat from Hermes Grasperini. Brzenk can win for sure. Hope he does. Would love to see Devon humbled like he was after the boxing fiasco. Super fan. Hey, Brzenk's capable of a lot of things. Brzenk's pretty damn good, let me tell you. Would it be amazing if John did win, though? If John won, holy shit. I'm just going to skip down here and see who we've got. Any consistent names? Let's have a look. Kyle Hutchinson versus David Bradford. Who's your pick? Kyle's my pick. There. Too big, too powerful. But what David Bradford's great, though, isn't he? David Bradford's good dude. Lot of ability. And there's so many guys that we haven't had a chance to expose yet. What do you guys think of Evan Burgoyne? Do you like Evan Burgoyne? Because Burgoyne is a character, real character. So you may be meeting that guy in Arm Wars very soon. I like Evan. Always had time for Evan. Evan's got a lot of sides to him, but Evan's a good dude. A lot of time for Evan. And like can pull as well. What else we got in here? Rolly Ray. Dan Hanlon. I love Dan Hanlon. I've just seen a comment here from Evan. It says, Neil won't let me pull Arm Wars because I'm too loud. Yeah, I want the real you, Evan. I want the guy that talks to me when we're on the phone, not necessarily the guy that goes on to Gary's dialing show. I want the real Evan. I know that you're on that road, but you're not as far. And I think people need to know the real Evan. The real Evan's good dude. Good dude. And get over to Be a Man Burgoyne. Check him out. Sub to his channel, guys. Who else we got in here? I'm looking for consistent names. A lot of people have put guys in there like Schoolboy, and Engin's interesting. Lachlan Adair. Mike Aiello. Yeah. Eric Spotto. Matthew Shenko. Jerry. Morozov. Yeah. Now, Toot Karch has just come on with one that I really like. Daniel. Daniel is very good. Prokopchuk's really good. And he's one of the guys that I would like to feature on there. My only concern with Daniel is just the English. I'm not sure how much we could show you. We could show you plenty of his arm wrestling, but I'm not sure what we'd get from him English-wise. I need to just check out Daniel and see where we're at. But Mindaugas Terasaitis will be coming soon, because I feel bad for Mindaugas just because he missed out on the reality check, and in terrible circumstances for the lad. He was ready to go. Nathan Jones has come in with Derek Smith. Kasparov. Cobra. We did offer it to Cobra, but I think Cobra's got a lot of stuff on at the moment. Cobra was welcome at the reality check. I'm sure when he's ready, Andrew knows he's always welcome. Zane Jones with a super chat. What do you think about Devon being so out for blood with John? I understand that's his method and he's on a mission, but as a fan, it seems a tad disrespectful to the GOAT. Your insight is appreciated. Okay. Devon, the application of Devon's stance mentally heading into the match may be adopted, and maybe testing a trace around just to see what kind of reaction he gets from John, to see where John's head's at. And he might put that in very hard and then wind it back in a little bit. I don't think for 1 minute, not for 1 minute, that he has any animosity towards John at all. I think that the projection of aggression that you see sometimes from him is a tactic to try and unsettle people, test their nerve, put them in an uncomfortable position, piss them off. Didn't really fly with John the other night. John's been there, seen it, done it, and that kind of thing went over his head a little bit. But I would expect Devon to keep poking, prying, and testing John mentally, just in the same way he's going to try and test him physically. I think you can't read too much into the mental back and forth that you see from Devon and from John. There's a lot of respect there. Trust me. There's a great deal of respect between those two guys. They know what the other one possesses. They know what the other one brings. And both of them are very respectful to the other's capabilities. I have no doubt that John feels less pressure than he has otherwise done going into this match. I can't imagine he wouldn't, because the man's 57 years old. He's been inactive for a number of years and then just come back in. He's going to know that most people will have Devon. Most people will believe that Devon is going to win. It gives him a tremendous opportunity. He's probably hoping that Devon is overconfident, that Devon believes in himself too much, that Devon will back off a little bit. Who knows? John may play possum a little bit and then try and capitalise. It's going to be a little bit of cut and thrust between the two, but you would have to think that Devon's level of activity, not even at the highest level, but just his level of activity on the table, should stand him in very good stead if the match turns into any kind of grinder. I think that John would need to finish quickly. He's not really had enough time for me to be able to get himself in great shape for a long, drawn-out battle. I just do not see that at all. I think if John wins, he's got to find a weakness in the hand and wrist of Devon, and he's got to put the axe to him. Other than that, yeah, he's going to really, really struggle. Fat Legless Bird with a super chat. Some people I'd like to see return. Maynard Nenches. Mate, I absolutely love Maynard Nenches. Maynard Nenches is a wonderful bloke. He's a fabulous character. He's one of the most genuine men I've ever met. He's a great guy. Massive amount of time for Maynard the Thing Nenches. And his brother, Hendricks, also awesome. Daniel, yeah. Prokopchuk's incredible. What a puller that is. Very, very. I'd love to see Daniel pull Yanis Amelins. Got to be honest with you. I actually proposed that to Yanis, but Yanis doesn't want that right now. Kevin Berberich. I'd love to see Kevin back there as well, and I'm sure we will. And he's gone back onto Maynard. Maynard is a beast in the 90 kilograms. Won Dutch Nationals also. Mate, get older Maynard. And I've reached out to him on Facebook. Haven't had a response yet, funnily enough, but I think he might not be active on there anymore. But I am definitely trying to contact Maynard Nenches right now. Love him. Love the Nenches boys. They're great. They really are. Toopkarcher, Neil, are you coming to PAA Nationals? I don't know, actually. If my sons haven't got a sporting event on, then I would love to come. I would absolutely love to come and watch the PAA Nationals. Great to see the PAA doing good stuff with the sport here in the UK. A lot of good pullers coming through. That'd be cool. Let's have a look what else we got in that shot. Morozov, yeah. Wagner, guy that people like to come back. The Jedi, not sure we're going to get Yanis for the first one, guys, just because of his commitment to the WF Worlds, excuse me, which I think are mid-December. And he's very professional. Yanis as an individual is not the guy that takes risks. He is not, you know, if the speed limit's 70, don't look for him to be going 80. You know what I'm saying? He's not a guy that takes any risk. Very clean, very concise, doesn't take any risk, doesn't extend himself. That's his character. And if he feels like he might be beaten up, then he's not going to give you a yes on an event. And unfortunately, we need to confirm events. We can't leave it wide open. So we'll have a very solid card in January. Very solid card. It probably won't include Yanis Amelins. What about Jason Merlot? What do you guys think about Jason Merlot? I love Merlot. Jason's rock strong. And I think he matches well with so many guys. Here's one for you all to consider. How would you guys like to see more from Nicholas Nanestad, the Steel Giraffe? What about getting him back in the mix? Been a while since we've seen Ambush up there. And if so, who would you like to see him pull? ST Levan versus Neil. Jesus Christ, don't blink, mate. Let's have a look. Who else we got in here? These things are flying in at crazy pace. I'm trying to pick a few out. Vitautas Lalas versus RVJ. Yeah, Vitautas is solid, but he's not that solid. He'd need more time at the table. If it was a deadlifting competition, it'd be the other way around. So, Efren Sanchez, thank you for your super chat, mate. I would like to see Ion Onchescu. Jon Onchescu, yeah. I would too. I love me some Jon Onchescu. And you'd like to see him pull John Brzenk this year in 2022. John said he'd like to pull him. You know what? They pulled once before in the PL, and that was fun. But yeah, Iron Yononchescu's a beast, mate. He's an absolute athlete. And yeah, I'm in touch with Jon, so that could happen. That could happen. There's no doubt about it. Matt Tickle My Limits Larrett, how you doing, dude? He's put Fluffin, love you. Love you too, brother. Just got on here back at work. Love the streams, love the merch. Keep it going. Thank you, mate, and thank you for your support. Yeah, Yononchescu, a very, very interesting guy to get up there. He really is. And another one that's just popped in now that I like, Brent Rackers. Brent Rackers. Very polished, solid guy. Another athlete. Like Brent a lot. Matt Limits Lara again, he's back in. Also, what do you think about Oleg versus Vrej? Or is that lopsided? Yeah, Zoik would crush him. Yeah, he really would. Zoik's too much, mate. Or Jock, as they call him in Europe. But yeah, too much. Too much. Although Vrej is just amazing. Unbelievable. In battles, over 6 rounds, what a monster. There's so much match potential there for him. There really is. Here we go. Pabnafall, thank you for your super chat. Hey, Neil, it's Mohammed. Do you believe Jon is taking this match serious at all, or he just wants to test himself against Devon to see where he's at? I think he's taking it very seriously, mate. Speaking to Jon, yeah, he's taking it very seriously. I think he'll go into it with a very open mind. I think that Jon is in a very unusual position for Jon, that he can 110% just be the hunter. He doesn't have to worry here. For most of his career, put yourself in Jon's position, guys. For most of his career, he's never had that luxury, you know, to just go and hunt somebody down, just crack at somebody, to just have. He was always the guy that was the hunted, not the hunter, you know. He said on the show the other day he was enjoying that. He said on the show the other day that he liked that opportunity to be able to just go out and test himself. And I think it's nice that if Jon is reinvigorated by that, if Jon starts to enjoy his arm wrestling again, that would be great. My only concern going into the match with Devon is that if he lost badly against Devon, that he would take it badly, that he would feel down and potentially be slightly demotivated. And I hope that doesn't happen. We all want to see a battle. Can it be a battle? Who knows? Jon's capable of some amazing things. I don't see him winning. I'd love him to get a bit of a foothold and make it a good match. I know that Devon will try and drill him and put a statement on this. I think Devon's stinging a little bit from some of the comments around the 2008 meeting, and possibly feels like it's not been a fair crack of the whip based on where he was at in 2015. And also, I wouldn't draw too many comparisons between the meeting in 2015 and the meeting in 2008. For one simple reason. They weren't both super matches. One was a super match, the other was a main draw competition. That's night and day difference. It's as simple as that. They're just a different experience. It's a different thing entirely. You simply cannot compare the two. So this meeting represents the second time that these guys are going to meet one-on-one. And the sort of, I don't want to say frustrating, although it is a little frustrating, that the guys are, certainly Jon is not in the best situation that he has been in, because he's been so inactive and not been back in the sport long. I'm not sort of knocking Jon, but I would have liked him to have a few miles under his belt before this match came about, if I'm honest. I would have liked him to be fully back on that horse, you know, to have had some real grinders, big tests under his belt that he'd come through with flying colours. Back to that guy, that version of Jon that we saw in 2015, that kind of level where he was really serious. Now then, facing a guy like Devon, the recent form of Devon that we've seen, that would be exciting, much more exciting. A little bit of the sting is taken off this thing just because of the fact that Devon's been much more active and John hasn't. That makes me a little concerned for John in some ways, but please prove me wrong, John. We shall see, mate. We shall see. Let's have a look who we got in here. Dan Earthquakes in the chat. Dan, how are you doing, brother? Great dude. Neil, when I was watching wrestling, when I was a kid, Iron Fist Clive Myers was mentioned as an arm wrestler. I noticed he was in Over the Top briefly. Any stories? My God. A lot of stories about Iron Fist Clive Myers. He was one of the guys that was behind the Iron Arm that took place in Leeds in the early 90s. He was very, very active late 80s, early 90s on the UK scene. And Myers was really working hard to get the sport rocking in the late 80s over here. You know, he was at a lot of the events. Very charismatic individual, absolute athlete, extremely strong man. You know, one of the founding fathers of technique here in the UK. A lot of people owe him a debt of gratitude for getting things rocking in the UK. I would be one of them because he was involved in the Over the Top event, which was my introduction to the sport in the UK in the mid 80s. So yeah, hats off to Iron Fist Clive Myers. What an hombre. White Wolf, thanks for your super chat, mate. Sup, Neil. Devon's journey from dark places took me from my own dark places. I love Devon, but John is a titan in the sport, and him. I have him in the State Kings. The shutout makes it interesting, doesn't it? Because there's so many angles, so many opportunities. And let me give you a little bit of an interesting dynamic, okay, to perhaps think about. A lot of people are drawing comparisons between Devon Larratt and what Devon Larratt did to Michael Todd and Devon and what Devon can do to John Brzenk. Okay. Now, whilst there might be the same outcome and it might be a very one-sided match, the two arm wrestlers, i.e. Michael and John, are polar opposites in almost every respect. John is supremely gifted in the sport of arm wrestling in certain physical attributes. Michael, not much. Michael is a walking success story based upon determination, heart, and roundedness. He's not necessarily a physically gifted individual. He's not necessarily a guy that should do as well as he's done. Not a particularly massive guy. Not that much going for him, you know. But what I would say about Michael is few people, very few people in the sport's history have had more determination and just balls and desire to win than Mike. Mike is incredible in that respect. And he's also got that X factor of awkward because he's the best Kings mover in the business. He really is. Now, the difference between John and Mike is that with Mike Todd, Devon knew exactly, and it was very fresh in his memory as well. He's just come off a big battle with Mike, but he's been involved in a number of long, drawn-out scraps against MT, so he knows exactly what to do. Now, with John, you're talking about an entirely different set of criteria, and the biggest weapon that John would have had in prior meetings with, and the most recent meeting, 2015, with Devon, was that advantage in the hand and wrist, the key area of the hand and wrist, which has always been such a primary weapon for John Brzenk, okay? Now, that coupled with the fact that Devon will often either try and set his own hook or has often tried to set his own hook against John in recent meetings, or he's arm wrestled on the counter against John, really allows John the opportunity to pick his lane, pick his direction, and tee off. He has the opportunity to tee off on Devon and to try and expose that area of weakness. John's reliant on that. John's reliant, in my opinion, on the fact that he doesn't feel like Devon's going to be able to contain him in that key area of the game. He doesn't feel like Devon can close down the light in the hand and wrist. And if he can't, then regardless of how much more size, regardless of how much more power Devon has, it wouldn't make too much difference because John is much more dangerous in that hand and wrist area to Devon than Mike was at that time. Because what what Devon had lacked earlier when he was pulling Mike was the top end strength in the center of the table, to be able to hold the center of the table and climb for height. If he could hold the center and rise, he was always a difficult ask for Michael. John, completely different set of criteria, completely different requirement to win the match. So Devon may very well dominate the match. Many people will believe that he should dominate the match. But if he does dominate the match, it'll be done in a very different way to the way in which he arm wrestled John. They're just completely dissimilar. We'll see how it plays out, but that's my take on that, and I believe that'll be the case. Adam, thanks for your super chat. Neil, have you considered going on tour MMT style? Mate, I would love to, and using an Arm Wars pickup truck. Well, have you got my house bugged? It's funny you should say that, mate. A lot of conversations going on at the moment. But yeah, I can't say any more. But a lot of conversations going on at the moment, and that's not too far off the point on some. Apart from the going on tour thing, I wouldn't be doing that. But the other part of that, yeah, there's a lot of things. Really interesting from Miguel Martinez, where he's put Nanastad versus Jordan Davis, the Reacher. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Although I think Jordan's quite a bit bigger at this point in time. So I actually like Jordan Davis and Stoiker Bogdan. Yeah, so Bogdan Stoiker and Jordan Davis might be a really interesting one as well, if Jordan Davis can even travel. But I like Jordan, great puller. And if you don't like Bogdan Stoiker, what the hell is your problem? Guy's ace. What an arm wrestler. What a character. DCS Beamer, super chat. You know if Voda is planning on pulling again sometime. Seems he's training for arm wrestling every now and then at least. Yeah, I saw that. Alex is at least doing something. I haven't spoken to him. I need to reach out to him, give him a call, and just see where he's at. I'll maybe give him a ring and try and find something out on that. But that'd be great. Lovely guy. And I'd love to see him back in. Clark's 93 with a super chat. Derek Smith versus Sperong. That's one I've got shortlisted as well, mate. Yeah. A few as I'm sure will come to that one. But yeah, Derek and Tobias was one of the matches that I had proposed for the reality check show, actually prior to Cadetia initially. And then Alex came into that spot. We had conversations going pretty much right throughout that with Tobias, and Anders is his manager. And I'm sure we'll see Tobias at some stage in Arm Wars. Love Tobias Sperong. Rock solid, massive future, put on so much size as well. He was so much bigger than I'd seen him last time. I don't know what he weighed over there, but he looked, holy shit, he looked 130 kilos or something. He looked big. Not big enough for Alex. Alex has got crazy potential. Alex Cadetia is, I mean, he is just raw as hell, mate. If Alex Cadetia finds his feet, and if he becomes very well versed technically and continues to just keep plowing that particular field, wow, he is dangerous. He's dangerous for anyone, for everyone. What a monster! Love Alex Cadetia. He's a great dude. He's a lovely character, so charismatic, such a lovely person, an absolute natural giant. With explosivity, with speed, with venom, with focus, that little bit of technical prowess. If he can put those layers down, and he's intelligent, he's working on that now, he's drilling it, the future is crazy bright. A couple of people there say, I want to see Derek and Cadetia. I think Alex is too far in front of Derek just now. After what I saw, I wouldn't want to make that match personally right now. I need to see more from Derek. But I would like to see Derek tested with Tobias originally. My take on Alex and Tobias the other day was that was very, very easy for Alex. Alex had an enormous amount in reserve. I know some people said, oh, Tobias made it hard. I don't actually think he did. I think it was easy for Alex, and Alex is being kind there. That's not a knock on Tobias. Tobias is mega. He was just outgunned. Just outgunned. Alex was too much. He was feeding rope to Tobias to allow Tobias to arm wrestle. There was no match there. It was easy for him. A little bit too much on at the moment. Cooper Maxwell, I'm excited for the match, but would have loved to see Toddzilla versus John first. Yeah, I'm sure that match will happen. Well, I say that as long as John comes out of the Dubai scenario still very enthusiastic to arm wrestle, I expect that we will see Todd and John. Who knows? Maybe an arm wars. We're coming back. Another little bit of news for those of you who didn't know. The plan is that we'll be back at the Arnold Classic UK, which is taking place 23rd to 25th of September 2022. And we'll be back there with a beast of a card. Going to be a big card there. So looking to bring some stars in for that one. So keep watching there. Hopefully I'll have a word with Mr. Larratt. See if he wants to make an appearance there in various forms. Barbie fun. John O'Kenyon, thanks for your super chat, mate. Hey, mate, what's your thoughts on Michael Todd getting big and coming back to challenge the top guys? I love it. His chances of making an impact after Devon's loss. Huge. That can flip-flop. Arm wrestling is a marathon, not a sprint. And the thing changes on a Thursday and a Saturday. And there's a lot of things can go down. A lot of people see it as black and white. It is anything but. Arm wrestling is about greys, shades of grey. 50 shades of mother fluffing grey. Not black and white, okay? Michael can return. Michael is still one of the best super heavyweight arm wrestlers in the world on any given day. Michael Todd is a goddamn animal and will cause so many people so much problem. Do not sleep on Mike. Mike will get big wins again. He'll give a lot of people a lot of problems. Styles make matches. That day in Dubai, something wasn't firing right for Mike. I don't know what. There was a combination of factors, a cumulative effect. He couldn't have been pulling a worse guy when his head's not in the game and when he's not firing. You're going in against that version of Devon that day. Yeah, it's going to be a dark experience for you, and it was. But speaking to Michael that morning, James is in the chat, as I said. Lauren Charley, I'd tell you the exact same thing. I went over to Loz's house. We were going to be doing the commentary for the show. And on the morning of the event, I had a brief conversation with Rebecca, brief conversation with Mike day before. And Mike, don't know, just wasn't there. Something wasn't there. He was a little wrong, a little off. Wasn't the guy that I spoke to in front of the bleachers at the WL. Total flip-flop in terms of who was where. Devon, on the other hand, was going on tour. He was friggin' hungry, and it showed. And he showed up there very, very ready, very, very focused. He had the game plan down, and he executed well. And he deserved to win the match. It's that simple. You know, Mike wouldn't contest that. It was one-sided. It was easy. Does that mean Mike can't come back? Not at all. On that day, he couldn't. On that day, he couldn't. Dan Earthquake, thanks, mate. Thanks for your super chat, brother. Good dude, Dan Earthquake. Yeah, Mike can come back. Mike, I want to see Mike get back in action. I want to see Mike. He's pulling Quick Venia soon. That's a match we tried to make many times. I can't wait for that match. I think it's great. And I think Mike will give a good account of himself there. It's a really interesting match. It's a very dangerous match. He's not getting back on the horse with a bum. He's going back in there against a very, very dangerous opponent. The match that's coming up in December, Hermes and Ganetti, is another great pull. Two very dangerous arm wrestlers. Actually, Hermes Gasparini, the more clinical, direct finisher. The bigger, more well-rounded guy is Quick Venia. Both really exciting. Probably nobody more exciting, to be honest, than Gennady Quick Venia. He's such a explosive, super exciting individual. Love watching that guy. You know, a guy at 130 plus kilos who does knee sliders and goes ballistic. What's not to like? I think he's great. And I want to see more of him. I'm sure you guys will as well when you see Gennady Quickvinyapol. Vipoj, when is the next Arm Wars, and do you know some of the matches? The next Arm Wars is probably going to be January, mate. It's going to be the last 2 weeks of January or February. I'm trying to work around a couple of things. I don't want, although it doesn't make any difference because we won't be doing lives and so on, I don't want to detract any of the focus from the event that Engin Terzi's doing, if I can help it. That's coming up in the 12th, I think it's the 12th of February, over in Turkey. I'm going to try and stay away from that date if I can. Very likely will be last 2 weeks of January. I would like to think that Tom Holland will be on that card. Frodo Hoagland will be on that card. I want Nanastad to be on that card. I'd like to see Mindaugas, Teresaitis be on that card. There's unfinished business there. Daniel's interesting there. Oleg Todorian's another interesting character. Resides pretty close to where we are here. I would love to see Merlot there. I really like Jason, and I think Jason matches up. I've reached out to him already. We'll see what happens there. Yeah, we got a few irons in the fire, and I'll drip feed out information on that as soon as I can, and as soon as we get things confirmed. But timings, that's when it's likely to be, mate. Hopefully that gives you a bit of an indication. Need to speak to some of the Aussie boys, see if there's an opportunity there as well. Possibly if Jordan can travel, he may be interesting. I would love to get Bogdan Stoica back on a card because he's great. Adrian Popescu, I love. So, yeah, very, very interesting. Let's have a look. Dennis Smith. Kadetchi versus Marcio. Love you, Neil. Sickest hoodie ever. Glad you like the fat lad stuff. I think there's some of that in the description as well. The fat lad gear. Some good stuff. We're having a bit of fun with that. Yeah, Kadetchi and Marcio is interesting. I right now, Marcio would need to come strong. He'd need to come strong. Alex Kadetchi right now is really serious. I think I made that mental maths in my mind after the match that we'd seen with Krasimir. I think this is a very different individual to the man that pulled Krasimir Kostadinov. I really, really do. And that's no disrespect to Krasi, who is another of my favorite arm wrestlers in the world. I just have a lot of belief that the man that was at the reality check and the guy we've just seen only this weekend is an emerging force in the super heavyweight division. I think that is a serious, serious dude. Let me tell you now. Let me see. Mizel Jador is in the mother-fluffing chat. How you doing, Mizel? And he's put it there, sub to the beer man. Yeah, get over to Evan Burgoyne's channel and check him out. Evan's a good dude. Hermes Desperini with a super chat. Would like to see a practice pull with Levan and Spotto. Obviously, Levin beats him in a match, but letting Spotto be strong where he is will be fun. Yeah, Eric he's just that outlier, isn't he? Spotto's rock strong, mate. He's really, really strong. Obviously, like you say, he's not going to beat Levan, but he's that guy that if he got the opportunity to hang off Levan's arm, it'd be good to see maybe a little bit of strain on the Georgian man's face. But Saganashvili, he's so impressive. I would love to see somebody give him a test just to know, just to see, or give him the opportunity to prove his arm wrestling prowess, because I really believe that Levan Saganashvili is a much better arm wrestler than people probably appreciate because of the fact he's so friggin' strong. He's not need to show that much. You know, he's run through guys. He's beaten guys comfortably. And with the possible exception of maybe 3-4 guys in the world, very few other people I see being able to do anything with him. So, yeah, extremely dangerous individual. Efren Sanchez with the super chat. I feel like Ion Onchescu and John Brzenk would be a close match. What do you think about that, Neil? I would lean towards John. I think there's a similar set of criteria here where Jon has been out of the sport for a long time as well in terms of the activity. I know he's come back in and he's been more active than John, but I still feel like John would have enough there in the hand and wrist to control a match. I think it could be interesting, but I think it would be another example of what we've seen where John's feeding rope out a little bit. I think Konchescu matches well with so many guys that he hasn't arm wrestled yet, though. A lot of the North American sort of just outlier next to you down heavyweights, guys like Chance Shaw, would be very, very interesting if they were to pull against someone like Jon Konchescu, because again, it'd just give you more breadth on what Chance is capable of. And there's another rung on the ladder for him to knock over people if he could. And I think that Jon would show him a lot of things he hasn't seen from the guys that he's pulled with in North America. So that'd be really, really interesting to see. There's so many matches out there. It's absolutely nuts. And hopefully we get a chance to showcase some of these and to showcase some characters as well. Clocks 93 with Mindaugas versus Holland. Yeah, that's what we want to happen. And I think both guys want that to happen as well. It should have happened. It was probably the match that I was most looking forward to on the card at Reality Check. Mindaugas got COVID. What could we do? Joe Moma in the super chat. Mate, don't I owe you a super chat as well? I saw a message saying that I missed one of your super chats. So sorry for that the other day, mate. Neil, who is the all-time MVP, champ, promoter, announcer, and podcaster of this sport, and why is his name Neil Pickup? Thanks, mate. Thanks for the kind words and support, brother. A lot of guys in the sport done a massive amount. Guys like Igor Mazarenko, who's put enormous amount of effort in over the years. and in so many areas, he's done so much for the sport. And there's many, many more people that have given their life to the game, and they all deserve that nod. But thank you very much for the support. It does mean a lot. I appreciate it, brother. Clocks 93. Sedis versus Loud. Love that match. Sandri Sedis is dangerous, well-rounded, mega puller. Jerome Loud, I'm not sure how strong that kid is, because every time I see him arm wrestling, he just runs through people. I think Jerome Loud is mega. He's one of those guys. He's one of those guys that could have a lot more potential than we know. There's a few of those. There are still those people in the US that, if you can motivate them and you can really give them a point of focus, they can show you a little bit more than you probably think they have. I still believe that Herman Stevens, I know I keep going back to that. Herman Stevens, whilst he is a dyed-in-the-wool weirdo who is hard to motivate for so many reasons on so many things, you may love him, you may not be a fan, but I'll tell you this, Herman Stevens can arm wrestle. When Herman Stevens shows up and he commits and he's ready and he's not got other things that are taking his focus, that's a very good arm wrestler. Very, very well-rounded individual, strong as shit, dangerous. Here we go here. RVJ versus SASHO rematch. I'm sure that's got to happen at some point. I'm not going to comment on that at all. But what I will say is, SASHO looked amazing at Reality Check. Amazing, dude's really good, really, really strong. And as I understand it, we'll see him out soon, won't we? Because he's going to be pulling 12th of February. He's going to be pulling Todd Hutchins. So that'll be a very interesting matchup for him as well. Let's have a look. Going to stay on for another sort of 5-10 minutes, guys, and then I'm going to jump off here. But I want to say before I do, it's been amazing. Thank you very much for all of you coming on and spending a bit of time. If you want me to try and do a couple of these more often, I will do so. I'll jump on and try and maybe jump on once a week or once every other week and pick up with you guys. I know a lot of the time you want me to bring guests on, and I don't want to let you down. I want people to tune into the channel and to get what they came for. If you want to see me come on and talk to you guys, I'm happy to do that. But I also want to bring you the guys that you want to see. And I also want to I want to expose more characters, or I want to let people come on here and talk about themselves. Let's have a look what else we got here. The Fat Lad versus Rolly Royce. Mate, I would love to pull Rolly Royce. Rolly's ace. He's doing well at the moment, Rolly. I thought he pulled brilliantly at Reality Check. I thought Ray did great. That was a mega match. I really enjoyed that match. It was ace. Let's have a look what else we got. Just making sure I've not missed any more super chats, guys, before I do wrap this thing up. If there's any more questions that are sort of crying babies, anything that anybody really wants to ask before I get off here, I'm going to be heading off in about 5-10 minutes, guys. So just fire them in now if you've got anything that's really pressing. As I say, I'm going to try. We're back with the fix on Sunday. I will try to also get that In the Presence of Greatness organised shortly. And to let you guys know just up front, in a couple of weeks' time, maybe like 2 weeks out from them going and pulling in Dubai, we're going to have John and Devon back on for another go-around. But I'll try and I'll maybe track down Levan Saganashvili as well. Bring on here and get his little bit of insight on that. Another super chat that's popped up there. Josh Rowe. Oh, no comment, but thank you very much, Josh. Really appreciate it, brother. Yeah, I'll try and round up some lads who can give you guys a little bit more insight on the whole John versus Devon thing from the perspective of people that have a lot of experience with pulling both men, and they can maybe give you some more insight as well on that. Black Paw, Neil, how do you sponsor these events? It's funny, we're actually looking for sponsors for the Arm Wars series for next year. So if anybody out there is interested in sponsoring Arm Wars, getting involved with that, I know I've had a lot of you guys message me about doing a Patreon page. As I've said before, don't really know what I'm doing on it. I will look it up at some point. It's just, I can't clone myself, guys. And at the moment, I'm running around like a nutcase, as James will tell you. Trying to make sure that we get everything done for the Arm Wars shows. Lachlan versus Porkchop from BM Burgoyne. Mate, I'd already spoken to Devon about that. I love that match. In fact, I think I've already spoken to Lachlan about that match. But yeah, absolutely love it. White Wolf, yeah, Neil versus Ray. Not really fair on Ray in some ways, even though I haven't trained for 5 years, but Ray's a lot smaller. So, but yeah, I'm not trying to take anything off Ray. I got so many matches I can put Ray into that are great matches. Let's have a look. Set up Chance Shaw and Dimitri Kachan. I think Chance Shaw is coming to Europe. I'm pretty sure that Chance Shaw is going to Sweden, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, I can't tell you when, but I'm pretty sure I heard that. I think Chance is going to Europe. He's going to tour around Europe a little bit, and I think he's going to Sweden to train with the Swedes. That should be good, and I'm sure he'll pick up. Maybe we'll see Tobias Sperong and Chance. So we shall see. We'll see. Oh, when we got there, VPO's just come in with another super chat. I know you're a bit round and all. Yeah, that is true, mate. What in the mother fluffing house? Do you want to pull again? You know, but I'll always arm wrestle, mate. If there's a table that, like, if I went to the PAA Nationals, would I arm wrestle? Yeah. I heard the other day, I was listening to a thing with Paul Maiden, and I spoke to Paul briefly on the phone a couple of weeks ago. He was saying that they were expecting a big turnout and the super heavyweight class would be mega. Well, whatever I weighed in, I think I'm about 110 kilos, somewhere around there, heavy. But I'd go in the supers. I'd get my ass handed to me, but I'd do it anyway, because why the frig not? I mean, if there's a table there, I'd go and pull, but I'm not training. So it's kind of disrespectful for me to go and think that I'd do anything in that kind of class when we got guys that are working their balls off and they, you know, they deserve to win, and I'm sure they would win. But in terms of would I come back and arm wrestle again? Never say never, right? I never know. But right now, it isn't something I'm focused on. Purely and simply, just not enough hours in the day. I've got to try and divide my time wisely. And it honestly comes down to where I feel like I can be beneficial for the sport of arm wrestling. And I feel like that's where I can't. I feel like the Arm War Super Series gives more to arm wrestling than me arm wrestling would, you know. That's probably the lay of the land there, to be honest. But who knows? You never know. Maybe I'll pull again at some point. If my boys ever got into it, then I'm sure I'd do something. But this is I've had my time in the sport in many ways, and it is an opportunity for the new blood, the guys to come through who are that hungry young man or young woman that are really looking to get into the game and carve out a niche for themselves. That's the people that excite me in the sport. I like to see, like tonight I was watching, just before I came on, I was just flicking through Facebook, and a kid from the States, his name's Cody Wood, 154, sort of 70 kilo guy. Every time I put on social media, he's training his ass off. He's doing one-handed pull-ups in a frigging weight vest or something. I love that. I love those young guys that are chasing it, you know. And he's the type of guy that I would like to give a shot, that I'd like to showcase. Just let people see him, you know. I like those guys that are chasing after it. Not that I'm not committed to the old guard, you know, the Craig Tuyes, the Marcios. Love all those guys too, but I do like trying to showcase those new lads that have not had their time in the sun at all. It's nice to be able to just show somebody new, you know, just to be able to showcase a guy who is on his way up in the sport, on her way up in the sport, to let you see the emerging talent. They can be exciting. We put a match on with a couple of guys on the undercard of the reality check. It was the very first match of the day, and we had one of the old guard, Ted Wilson, pulling against Urban Armstrong, Nathaniel Ayekumi. I love Urban. Urban's great. He's just an exciting prospect, and I would love to put Urban into. Maybe that's a match. Maybe Urban and Cody Wood is interested. They're both around the same weight. They're both exciting, solid pullers. Maybe that's the kind of thing, you know, that's gonna do something there. You never know. So, yeah, I like to give those guys a shot. Ryan Mann, thanks, Neil. Thank you, mate. Thank you for your super chat. Just a few just popped in. I'll try and knock them over real quick. Josh Rowe, Neil, what's up with Blue sending Gary into retirement? It's funny, mate. We're saying when I first came on, Gary, I may not be in there now, but Gary was actually in the chat. And I haven't seen the show yet, but as I understand it from the many people that have messaged me, Ryan showed some content which was Gary's, and it was around the event that was done, something that really matters for Gary. It was his footage of the Paul Lynn John Brzenk match, which of course that's big for Gary, and he's going to get views from that. It's massive for the lad. I kind of side with Gary on that a little bit in thinking that, you know, Ryan don't necessarily need it. Maybe, but Ryan's a big boy. He's making his own decisions. Opinions are going to vary, you know, on that one. It's not my MO. I'm not going to go out and take someone else's stuff. I'm just not going to do that. It's not the way I roll, and it's not how I would. Each to their own. I hope Gary is just pissed and he doesn't retire. I hope that's the case, and he's in for the long run. B Sims, thanks, mate, for your super chat. Really appreciate it. Always good to hear your voice, sir. Sir, hey, must have wrong guy. Consider this a late PPV buy. Excited for the super edits, mate. We're excited too. I was speaking to James a lot today. James Statham deserves a massive vote of confidence and a thanks from me. Guy, super talented. I'm honoured to have met the lad. I think he can help me realise some of the concepts that I've had. Sorry for this cough. Floating around in my mind for a long time, and I hope that you guys, that the arm wrestling community, get it. I really do. I hope you get it. I hope you like it. We'll be putting stuff out around Christmas time. We're going to start a new channel, Arm Wars Official. Will be coming out soon. It will be a different take on arm wrestling. it will be something entirely different from what you guys have seen before. I think it's much better. I think it's more entertaining. It's more exciting. There was a snapshot of it on the little thing that we released the other day. Just a little teaser. But if you like that style, if you like that quality, if you like the dynamic and the manner in which that little clip, that little teaser played out, imagine that extrapolated into a 20 or 30 or 40-minute film where you were seeing how that match, the journey of that match, told to you through the eyes of the men that contested it and those people that were in the room and felt that atmosphere. They were there and how they project it. I think that makes it more watchable and it carries the vibe of the sport better to the viewing public, and that's what we're trying to project. Now, just to make you guys aware, Armwars reality check was playtime. Neither myself nor James are happy or content with how that is, largely because of the fact that if you were there, you knew the challenges that we faced at that event were unbelievable. The next event we do, that ain't going to happen because it's happening in a controlled environment. It's going to be very different. It's not about the live crowd. It's not about the live show. It's about arm wrestling. It's about the characters in the room. We'll bring some characters there and we'll show you those characters and we'll show you their arm wrestling and we'll show you what goes on that weekend with them. And I think it's going to be really exciting. I think it's going to be really entertaining. It will be very different from what you've seen before. I'm going to have to jump off here shortly. My voice is shot to it really is. And I do apologize for the coughing, guys. Not what I want to do. Let's have a look. Gary Roberts is still in here. Gary, yeah, I was just trying to explain the situation, mate. I don't want to sort of steal Gary's thunder. Yeah. Tricky situation. Everybody's got the viewpoint on that. As I say, my personal view, for all the people there that have asked me, what do I think of that? I would not personally take people's content. It's not something I'm going to do. I am going to try and make my own way in the sport. And I will do that by utilizing my own stuff off my own merits. And if I'm good enough, I'll be okay and I'll keep going and you guys will watch. If I'm not, but I'm not going to take someone else's stuff to achieve that. It's not my MO. The Hunster with Super Chat. Devon versus Cody Merritt. Left hand will be awesome. Yeah, Cody Merritt's looking strong, isn't he? Very, very big, powerful lad. And that left arm has never looked better. And I think there's some interesting tests coming his way in North America as well. It'll be interesting to see. Mazel Gisor, I've just seen there, has put the white fat lad hoodie out there. Yeah, thanks, mate. Really appreciate that. So people can find it. Stacey Morgan with a super chat, just a little something for the voice of arm wrestling and strongman competition. Thanks, brother. Really appreciate that, Stacey. Oh, Gary's just come in. That combined with the live broadcast hate comments and Facebook GR's embarrassment to the sport on the tip. So, Gary, I don't know anything about that, mate. But he's put combined with the live broadcast hate comments and Facebook comments that Gary Roberts is an embarrassment to the sport on the table. And those were comments from people that I like, such as Sean Latimer and Denise Wattles and so many more. Okay. Yeah, I have no idea what they were. I mean, that's disappointing. That's disappointing if that was the case. Particularly, they could just call you up and tell you some stuff. I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, were you just doing the Gary Roberts nutcase thing where you go crazy and intense up there? I mean, it is what it is. It's not so bad, you know. Anyway. Frank C180, is the original Arm Wars channel not your property? Is that why you aren't uploading new content? No, that is my property. Arm Wars is me. That stuff is already up. It's on a channel which is not monetized. The content there was dueled. It was given out to Eurosport. It was already shown on Sky Sports and Eurosport. So obviously when the show exists on a televisual format as well. There are some complications around that. That isn't the case with the new stuff, which is going out. Obviously, it's updated and it's shot, and that's where we're going to be putting it. So that hopefully answers that question for you, mate. Let's have a look. Couple of super chats coming in, guys. Don't waste your money at this time because I'm going to jump off here very soon. Just because I feel like I've been in the prison showers with my throat. Not good. Let's have a look. Who you got in the Hermes and Gennady Quickvenia match? Mate, that's a supremely interesting match. And I see a lot of lanes for both guys to win. I think Hermes is the more dangerous man for the quick win. If the match is stopped, it should go Gennady's way. Look for the quick win from Hermes. Look for the battle for Quickvenia. My only concern with Quickvenia is I had heard that he's had some serious wrist issues in the conversations between Levon and Mike. If he's got wrist problems, they're going to get found out. I'll tell you that now. He needs to go into that with a fully healed, 110% strong wrist. He can't go into that match with a compromised wrist. We will see. Arm TV super chat. The entire stream was filled with shit about how I was broadcasting, as well as my arm wrestling with 98%. Yes, crazy Gary. Okay. Okay, mate. I'll check it out, Gary. I'll look at what the situation was. But just on a personal note, I hope you don't walk away from the sport. You're a member of the family, mate. You're in there, and you've been in there for a lot of years. I like you. I think you're a good dude. Look, you're not going to be all things to all men, Gary. But don't worry about it. You know, don't worry about it. Don't let the bastards grind you down. You know, if Denise and Sean have pissed at you, just give them a ring if it upsets you. We've all pissed people off now and again, you know, mate. So I wouldn't lose too much sleep about it. The Hunster, could RVJ with more training beat SASHO? Yes. He got out arm wrestled that day. RVJ has the capability to beat most people at his weight. RVJ has a tremendous amount of potential. If RVJ shows up with the right mindset on and the right degree of focus, RVJ is dangerous for most people on any given day. RVJ is a very unique individual in that he can show up one day and he's venom, and he can show up another day and he's human. And it's just which one shows up. And that's always been a problem for Rob. Rob's appreciative of that. Everybody that knows Rob is appreciative of that. I think Rob is great. I love the rawness of Rob Vigent. Rob Vigent, you get what you see is what you get. You may not agree with it, but Rob Vigent Jr. will tell you exactly what he's thinking. You're never under any illusions with Rob Vigent Jr. And I can honestly say, in my personal dealings with Rob Vigent, I've always found him to be extremely straightforward, straight shooting guy. He never bullshits you. He never sugarcoats anything. Believe me, he's like that to your face. I've had plenty of times when myself and Rob might have seen something slightly different, and Rob will just tell you, no, this is how I see it. This is how it is. And he's got his strong opinions. You can't knock a man that's true to his convictions. You might not agree with him, you know, but he's got the courage to stand by it, and he'll tell you. And I find him engaging. I find him entertaining. I like Rob Vigent Jr. a lot. I think he's a good dude. I have a lot of time for him. He pisses off a lot of people that I also really like, but it's up to them. I've always tried to take people as I find them, guys. If I've never had an issue with Rob Vigent Jr. I get on with Rob Vigent Jr. very, very well. Very respectful, very straight guy. Every time I've ever dealt with the bloke, I have no reason to. What do you want me to say? That's the guy. The guy that came to Arm Wars Reality Check was absolutely the fella that I thought was coming in terms of the way he conducts himself. Him and his wife, Heather, lovely people, very, very straight people, very direct, very respectful, awesome. Church of Arm Wrestling in the house. Get over to the church and pray. Get yourself subbed, guys. Jimmy G in the mother fluffing house. Love Jimmy G. Guy's voice is cool as balls. I can go and listen to, you know, like some people do, they'll just do a video that you'll listen to and it's like calming. I could go out and just have a beer with Jimmy G and just kick back. Jimmy G is ace. I love him. On TV, Gary Roberts with a last-minute flying super chat. To close, I said I was taking a break from lives and filming current stuff and going back to focus on the old stuff. I love you. Keep up the great work with Arm Wars, lad. It's back. No worries, Gary, mate. I'll give you a buzz in the next few days, mate. We'll have a bit of a bounce around, bit of a chat. Hope you're good, and I hope the little one's good. I did hear that you're expecting another child, mate, and congratulations to you and your lady, Gary. Hope everything's good with the pregnancy and everything else. Okay, guys. I've probably bored the living piss out of you guys for too long. So thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in, taking the time and checking out the show. Sorry about the cough. It's been killing me tonight, and it's probably been hard to listen to, but I've been struggling with this tickly cough for a few days now. I hope I managed to answer a few of the things you wanted to know. Remember, I'll try and jump back on here maybe next week and do something similar. Any questions you've got, remember, you can fire them in. We'll be back on Sunday night at the same time, Sunday night, which will be 5:30 in the afternoon Eastern and 2:30 Pacific US. It'll be 10:30 at night in Central Europe, and for us here in the UK, 9:30. I'll be going live on Sunday night with Rolly Ray, with Ryan on the fix. You never know, Gary Roberts might phone into the shit out of Ryan, and we might even also have my own mate, the Y Talk, back in the house for that as well. Ladies and gents, thanks for taking the time out. If this is your first time here on Supernatural Strength, please like, share, subscribe, let everybody know about it, and we'll see you on here next time. Take it easy, peeps. All the best to you and your families. Bye-bye.